Evening. How are we doing?
Marvellous. How are you? How's your Monday been?
Yes, Monday's been quite busy, but yeah, good mate, good mate. Mondays are always good after a successful weekend, shall we say?
Yeah, winning Mondays. We don't get very many of them, so you have to enjoy them when we do. That's racing. That's racing. You got back all right last night? You weren't back too late?
Yeah, I think we got home about 9:30 in the end. Obviously, we had to drop the Wendy house off, in the words of Tim Simpson.
Yes.
But yeah, not too bad. How about you? You come home this morning. How was that?
I did. I was so tired after the race and stuff. We opted to stay another night and then come home this morning and straight up to HQ, and were met with a nice big puddle track, which was a bit disappointing and not what we was expecting. But when I think about it, we did have. We were lucky with the rain at Westmill, but there was lots of places that had lots of water, I think, over the weekend. And clearly, we were one of them. I've just thrown a picture up of me stood in Ant's bumhole, because typically the hatch for the pump was shut down, so we couldn't actually get the pumps into it to start getting the water off without actually just getting involved. So decided to get involved.
Nice. Yeah, straight in. I saw it. Up to your. Well, it's a good job you had wellies on.
Well, yes. Unfortunately, I didn't. No, as you would very well know, it was just a pair of trainers and no socks. But yeah, it's been busy. We've got it in pretty decent nick. I think we've got some superstars that are coming tomorrow to do some practice in readiness, obviously, for national later on in the year. So we thought we'd better give it a bit of effort and sweep it off. And fingers crossed, it's going to be dry overnight, and we'll come in tomorrow and not have to do it all again. But if we do, we will. So that was my Monday. Back to reality with a very big bang of
very wet bang.
Yes, a wet one. I have to do all these things as well. It's not just all champagne and Peroni beer, unfortunately.
Speaking of Peroni beer, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Peroni beer.
Whee, look at
Peroni
that.
beer, my trusty Pepsi, my trusty Malbec, and my trusty lime cordial is
all trusty items that are on the table.
What is your beer review tonight?
I don't have a beer review tonight. I have.
Wow. Welcome to the wine club.
Well, I think I've been in it before, and then I just gone away from it for a while. But now, yeah, we're getting back into it. This is a lovely wine that was donated by Matt Bentley again. I spent a day or so with him a few weeks ago when we were doing some temp scale testing, and he gave me a nice bottle of red. So this is it. So thank you very much, Matthew.
Glug.
It's very nice, very nice. I've had it before because I've already drunk some. But yeah, it's beautiful. I can't even remember what it's called, mate, to be honest. It's a blue label. It seems to be quite popular.
I need to try it.
It's a Shiraz. I'll bring some.
I quite like a Shiraz.
And
before we go any further, and we've done our mini wine review, and my Malbec always tastes good. I like a Shiraz too. We wanted to send our love and best wishes to our Lewis Jones, who had a bit of a moment yesterday, unfortunately, in the main final, while contending for some good spots. So we wish him well. He's on the mend, hopefully. Spoken to his dad today, which I'm sure you have as well, Leroy. So, just our love and thoughts for you guys. Sorry your weekend turned poopy in the end, because it's been really good up until that point. And, we can't wait to see you back trackside and busting out some laps very soon. That was a bit of a scary one, that one.
Yeah, it was. Most people won't actually know what happened, but yeah, it was definitely scary. It was a bit of a shock, like just to the system, I think, for a lot of people, especially like us guys, because obviously Lewis and us are very close.
Yep.
I'm just glad everything sorted itself and Lou's on the mend, and he's feeling a bit rough today due to a hit to the head and stuff, but he's had testing and stuff this afternoon, and hopefully everything is moving in the right direction and we can get to the bottom of it.
Yep, definitely, and look forward to helping you out trackside very, very soon.
Yes, sir. Rest up, pal. You got Megan looking after you, so I'm sure you're doing all right.
Oh well, it can't be too bad then. I'd stroke it along for a little bit longer then in that case. Just keep it going.
That's what she said.
That is also what she said. Indeed. We need to do another thank you to our friend Paul Kelsall for donuts this time. He drove and delivered Krispy Kreme donuts for the team. That must be about a 4-hour round trip in the end. So thank you very much, mate, for some lovely donuts. I think they were much appreciated by all the guys.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I didn't actually have one,
Did you?
but I gave one to Liz, so my life was happier for it. So it's all good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You should give it a 2.
Yeah. I think the kids actually took one. So yeah, happy days.
I'm going to eat them
Thanks,
all.
Paul.
Yeah. Very kind.
As Paul gets a lot of things that we seem to really love, like, he's got me some beer, he's got you some wine or beer, and he's obviously got everyone donuts. I think it's about time that we started just pronouncing our love for Lamborghinis and Ferraris, because you never know where it's going to go.
I knew. I was waiting for the Ferrari love to come into the conversation, and there it was. I quite like them too. So yeah, 2 of those would be lovely, or 3. I don't know whether Mark likes Ferraris. I don't know what he'd have, Ferrari or Lamborghini or.
I don't think he'd have another ice car again, in his words.
To be
So
fair,
you might get Mark a plaid Model S.
Plaid Model S or a classic Cadillac. I know he's got a thing for classic American cars.
Has he watched the newest Grand Tour by chance?
I don't know. Are they doing a thing in old cars in that?
Yeah, so they're doing like just one-off big things now, aren't they? I haven't actually watched this one, but I know that it is about driving through Scotland in old school American like Cadillacs and stuff like that.
That sounds fun. We need to get 3 of them and do a series of Nemo.
Or we do our own Nemo trip funded by Paul, where I will go in a Lamborghini, you can go in a Ferrari, and Bumble can go in a Cadillac. How about that?
I like it. To where? The Bahamas? Take a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to drive, and it would be a bit of a pain in the ass to fly the cars there. Maybe we should just go to south of France, cruise around, Monte Carlo and stuff like that.
So, sports fans, tune in next week to see the 3 of us. Yes, across Europe.
If we can wait 2 weeks so I can get my second jab, then we'll be fine.
Tune in 2 weeks' time, and it might need to be a bit longer because I actually need to have some jabs. So there we go. Anyway, should we do a late shout out from the side?
We shall, and I know Paul is watching, so that's good. But good. Duncan Wrist got TQ spot.
Nice. Duncan, I haven't seen you in ages, mate. How are you doing? I thought you'd given up that sort of 10th scale pesky thing, and you got yourself all 8th scaled up, and then I've not seen you.
Yeah, now he's gone. I think he gave up everything for a short amount of time, and now he's back in 10th scale mode, as far as I'm aware. Nice. So, Donkey Boy, good to see you on the line. Davey Rose, he come P2. So just being snuck out for TQ spot there. So Davey, welcome, mate, and evening. Marcus Butler, he's online. He says, evening, guys. Congrats to me on my first place finish. So thank you very much, sir. Michael Shorey, he's online. He says, evening.
Good evening, Mikey Shorey.
Elise, she's online. She's watching on her account from Elise and Kevin.
Nice. Good evening.
Daniel Miller says, hi from NI, which I'm guessing is Northern Ireland.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening.
Nitro Freak, he's on early this time, so he's really loving the show. So welcome back again. And anyone wanting to look at some more RC goodness on YouTube, head over to Nitro Freak's page and subscribe and watch his stuff too.
Boom. Get there.
Boom. Martin Walters online. He says, evening.
Good evening.
John Wolf, he's online. He says, hi, Mr. Hazelwood and Mr. Martin.
Wolfie, we miss you. Wolfie from, I presume that's Wolfie from Clangers. And
I would imagine so, yeah.
Yes. We need to see Trackside again.
Pixel Forge, which is our man Paul, he's online and says, evening all, good to see you yesterday and great news about Lewis. Oh, and your win, Lee. So thank you very much, sir. And we'll take deliveries of the cars next week.
Yes, we're ready.
GW Racing is online. Big G. Evening, guys. Congratulations to the team at the weekend.
Thank you, GW. Thank you.
Claire, Cakes by Claire, she's online. Good evening, lads. Can't wait to see you all this weekend with cakes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we've got our Saturday race, one of our things to talk about in a little while.
Yes. Ivan is online. He says, hi, boys.
Hello, Ivan. How are we doing?
Hey, girls. Superstar DJ.
Here we go.
Nitro Freak looks like a bit of standing water in that pic. Literally, you were standing in water.
Yes, I was standing in water, getting bit by the fish.
Lovely. Well, not the hippos.
No, they were well behaved.
Stevie Spencer is online. He said, evening, all evening, Stevie. Aren't you meant to be at work?
Yes. I don't normally have my little furry friend come and say hello, so.
There he is. Ted.
He had a lockdown haircut from me. Not in lockdown anymore, but we can't actually find a groomer that wants to do a little multi-poo. So he had a scissor cut from me last week. It's absolutely horrific because I run out of time. So he has really, really hairy legs and a bottom.
Can you not just shave him?
Well, no, it won't go through. I bought some specific clippers for poodle hair, and he's just so tight. His curl is so tight they won't go through.
Wow.
It makes him very angry. So he's a 2-hour scissor job. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, Ted.
Bye-bye. Good boy. Sorry.
Back. No worries. Yo-Yo is online. He says, yo-yo, evening, guys.
Yo.
He says that he wants to come to a track this week, one day.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We are quite deep into track repair / reset for the upcoming bigger races that we've got going on, but we are open all week. We're trying to do it out of hours and when the weather allows us. So we are open all week.
We are. Barry Abbott says, congrats on the weekend's results.
Well done, Leroy.
And everyone else. Homeboy RC, evening, guys. Well done yesterday. What planet are you from? Because I'm not sure you're human. Good seeing you all yesterday. I'm definitely human, mate. If I wasn't, I'd be able to do that every week rather than just the one-off.
Definitely not a one-off. It's definitely not a one-off. We've seen it many times before, but yeah, impressive stuff. We'll get to it a bit later on.
We will indeed. We will indeed. Now comes the Nitro Freak and Homeboy RC kind of love connection thing. So I'll just skip over there.
Yeah.
Johnny Wolf says, well done, John, on making the main. So yeah.
Thank you. That's I think I'm right in saying that's my first A main since I came back from retirement. I retired in 2014. I think I stopped, or 13, when we had Darren Bloomfield, and we tried to put maximum effort into that that gig. And then I came back to try and do the 40 when I became over 40 to come and do the 40 Euros. And I don't think I've made one since then. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool indeed. And, competed in that main, for the show.
Yeah, exactly. But we I think we deserve to be in there. So that's cool.
Definitely. Homeboy says Glad Lewis is okay. He says, John, they had Malbec at a restaurant at Westmill yesterday. Very nice.
We'll try that next time.
Nitro Freak said he'll be right back. He's obviously talking to Homeboy again. Lyndon, the man, the G, the dominating MC, says, evening all, home and safe at last.
Good man. I did get a sneaky preview of that from the missus. She said that you got back safe because I'd asked her to tell me that you had. And again, thank you very much for, firstly, all your help doing some patching at Nemo, like we said before, and just being you guys, because it's cool. We love having you around and in the team. So, awesome.
I agree. Thank you very much, sir. It's always awesome spending time with you both, and I look forward to spending more and more with you.
Exactly.
Sarah Campbell online says, evening from Sarah.
And Craig, and we need to see them soon because we haven't seen them for a while at Nemo, I think. But
we haven't. Craig is not with her, though. It's just from Sarah.
Oh.
Craig's working late.
Again,
mate. Farmland, isn't it?
It is farmland.
Make hay while the sun shines, as they say.
Exactly.
Chris Marshall, evening, guys. Well done, me. Thank you very much. How do you think the referee dealt with the situation happening in the main? We'll surely talk about that soon, don't worry. Martin Hart, Action Man, evening, chaps, and another legend for bringing me my now new top 5 favourite drink.
Yes, Toffee Apple Brothers Cider. Very nice.
If anyone has not tried that
is good.
I advise you drive to the shop now and get some.
Is it? I don't know whether it's a regularly or like available thing you can go and just go to any market and get it. Is it? Is that?
Yeah, pretty much. They're becoming very popular. I mean, obviously, Martin brought us some on the Saturday, and when Leon went to the supermarket, I asked him to buy more, and he got it. And I think that was like a Tesco's. So.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, go get some. It's good.
Yeah, definitely. Raceway 1 is online. Our man Will. Great weekend for both of you boys. Well done. Thank you very much, sir. And thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Let's get you into an Agama. We need to get you testing some cars over with Barclay.
Don't worry, I'm already on that. And I'm very well on it indeed.
Good.
Arvinder, evening, chaps.
Hey, Arvinder, looking forward to seeing Arvinder on Sunday. We're going to Slough on Sunday. We've got our race on the Saturday, and then we're back-to-backing it down to the Slough guys to give them some support. So look forward to seeing you then.
At Slough. So good win. Thank you very much, sir, and hope Lewis is getting better. Mr. Warburton's online. Good evening, everybody. Great effort all round. Top job.
And to you, Daz, thank you for always helping out the team, like we say very often. And in fact, you were Lewis's pit man all weekend. So yeah, awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Ben Johnson is online. He says hi all.
Good evening. He's another legend. He's the Don and Jane. He's the adopted son, the travelling man.
He is indeed. And yeah, legend. And he loves helping out and doing what he can. It's awesome guy.
Mega.
Steve says he is at work, so that's good. Duncan says still have both 8th and 10th, but short on time.
Nice, good. And Hearts on Saturday. So that's for is it the Soom?
The Soom, the Schumacher off-road
orifice meeting.
Yeah. Schumacher off-road something Masters, I think, but I don't know what the other road is. Anyone?
Orifice Masters.
Orifice Masters.
Yes, exactly. It says it on the trophy. Probably doesn't. Well.
And then one last comment from Izzy and Mace. Wow, amazing call. Thanks, everyone. We'd love your videos, so thank you very much. I haven't seen your name pop up before, so thanks for tuning in.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. We'll keep trying to do these things as long as there's more than our mums watching that want us to do them. So yeah, thank you very much. Good shout outs, Leroy. Good shout outs.
We're there. We done it. Oh, she retracted her message.
She didn't like us anymore. So race reviews. There's only one that I have on my list, which is the UK Nitro National Round, which was at Westmill at the weekend. They're coming so thick and fast, it's hard to actually keep up with where we're at. We were East Shrewsbury the week before, all doom and gloom because it didn't go our way, and we didn't particularly have a tyre that was working, and it was all Les Miserables or Anus Horribilis, all those sort of things. What a difference, yes, exactly. What a difference a week makes, because back to Westmill, first time for me with a nitro buggy for a long time. Obviously, we were there for the truck and e-buggy not so long ago, but the guys have done a fantastic job on the track. I think they've dealt with some quite hard weather, which I have full appreciation, and you have full appreciation of now. Now we're trying to do a track ourselves, and the weather's not with you. It's very, very difficult to actually mend it once it's been, beaten up from another race. It is off-road after all, so they do tend to dig out. But I thought it would break up, but it didn't, Leroy, did it? We did our track walk, and we were like, "Ooh, this is possibly going to break up," but it just was. I think it's one of the best times I've driven it for me personally. Very consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Solid as a rock. I think with the bad weather they had, they didn't do as much prep as they could. They wanted to do more, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I feel if they had more time, maybe they'd put more oil down. But I think having less oil and stuff made it even better for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought the track was awesome. Obviously, I did very well. But even before that, I was full of compliments because it drove wicked. It was very smooth. It was fun. So yeah, massive congrats to them. They had a hard time with the weather, but I think it's probably the best, like you say, the best I've ever driven it.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that for me. I mean, obviously I missed many of the years, but I've stood in the pit lane helping, you guys or whoever it is on the team out. And I thought it was really very, very good. So top work to them. We had a thoroughly enjoyable weekend. Obviously feels better when you win something, but we always have a good time anyway and a good giggle. So it was no different from any of the other nationals in that respect. We had a good, strong showing. We managed to get, there was 4 of us, I think, into the semi-finals. We had, obviously, yourself, Lou, just throwing a picture up. that Bumble took. Yourself, Lou, Kev, and myself, which is really good. Juniors were flying as well. We had both the likes doing very well with Eric and Holger, and obviously the ever improving Ben Simpson too. Lots of really good performances, all through the team. Actually, to be fair, the cars were really rock solid, and probably for the first time this year, we had a tyre that was the one to have. The first 2 rounds, we haven't had that. We've been missing that, and we all know. And I think it's getting brought home to us even more this year than ever. If you haven't got the right tyre, then it doesn't matter what else you've got. You're not going to make that last bit of difference. Luckily for us this time, it was our go at having the right tyre. The Magma Blue was just absolutely exceptional, and it was working very early on as well, wasn't it? It didn't need to have any high ambient temperature or anything else like that. It was instantly on. I think we did practice in. I think we were 2, 3, and 6 or something like that. We were right up there, which obviously opened.
I think I won both rounds of practice.
Yeah, I think you were. I think it was 1, 3, and 6. I think Lou was 3rd, and I had the 6th. Kev was there as well, and so it was nice to just actually instantly start on a good point and just tweak away from that. I think all the cars looked fantastic this weekend, so we'll make sure we get those setups out there. They were all very, very similar for anyone watching and wondering. They certainly weren't very far apart, and we all did our final on the same tyre with the blue Magma. Quite what went on with you, Leroy, I've absolutely no idea, but you just turned into Super Leroy and put on a bit of a clinic. But that's cool. It doesn't always happen, like you say, so you've got to be humble when those things do happen. But very proud of the package as a whole, with the engine. That's the first win for the new Bullet engine too, so that's really cool. Piranha fuel and Gamma and all those other good things. I don't want to turn into a commercial, but it was pretty cool to, even though I was driving in it, be watching that, watching you come past me about 15 times in 45 minutes. That's pretty cool. I'll hang on to you for, no, I didn't. It was pretty mega. What did you have for breakfast? What was different? We all had the same shit as you, so you did something different. And in fact, most of the runners in the final had the same tyre on. So tell us the secret.
Yeah, I don't know really. I mean, it was just one of them races where everything kind of worked out, and I fell into the zone, as Lewis Hamilton puts it, where you just forget what's going on and just drive. And that is definitely what happened for 37 minutes. And then obviously towards the end we had some differences and not differences, but something with Lou happened, and that changed everything, because then I was more worried about what was going on behind me. But we still finished the race, and it was awesome, and my package was super dialed. I mean, that would also be our first race national win with a 319. We didn't actually have one out at the back end of 2019, so we didn't do any last year. So straight into it, and just everything clicked. It was awesome from first practice. I really didn't make much setup changes throughout the weekend. I actually, no word of a lie, I changed one thing from first practice to second practice, and I didn't change anything from then on. And my Hitachi only got used to refresh stuff like shocks and diffs and stuff. So
nice.
It's a rarity, this day and age, where you're on an evolving track, you're on an evolving surface, and maybe your car's not dialed from the off. And as you rightly said, we haven't been there much at all. I think I've run my nitro car there once this year, maybe twice max. So it's just great when everything falls into place. Engine was super dialed, and tires were super dialed, and car was super dialed, and I drove all right myself.
You did. Very, very impressive, mate. Big well done, and a big thank you as well for all your efforts for that, showing our stuff off at the highest level against, arguably some of the fastest drivers in Europe / world, and looking forward to actually getting back to doing a Euros and Worlds and seeing where these young guns are going to, compete now, because, I think they're going to be at the very top level at any of those races as well. So I think UK racing scene, we've got one of the biggest depths of any country going, actually. So really well done. We missed it on the first 2, like we said. 2 DNFs, which is not normal for us. We tend to be pretty good at keeping our stuff going, and random stuff just happened to us in the first 2. But we wouldn't have figured at the very, very sharp end in either of those, as we didn't have a tyre to go with it. We did this time. I still, even though it's worked our way this time, I still hate the whole tyre thing. It's completely boring for me. I cannot wait until we get to a point where there's enough of a following between the whole controlled tyre thing that was being spoken about loads by loads of people over the weekend. Because even when you've got the tyre that everybody wants, it's still boring, because it's so hard to then make sure you've got enough to supply the sudden influx that comes in. That from the first 2 races nobody's wanted it, so it's difficult and boring. And I'm sure the people that really matter, the ones that are buying this stuff and doing this as the hobby, they don't want all of that rubbish either. They just want to actually go and enjoy racing their cars and bolt a tyre on, same as everybody else, and just go and have fun. So hopefully we can get that momentum, going. The momentum is going. Just keep stoking it along and see what we can come up with. It doesn't matter whose tyre it is. I couldn't care whether it's one of ours or not. Just be great to not have that uncertainty going on, because it's getting to the point where it's like overpowering, isn't it? Everyone's running around trying to get this and that, and it's like a drugs den of trying to find tyres half the time.
It definitely makes it like exciting in a weird way, but just so frustrating in many others. And that's for us at the sharp end. If you're just your hobbyist and you're just having fun, maybe they don't think about it too much, but imagine how easy it would be with just one tyre.
Yeah, exactly.
A rain tyre or a dry tyre, compound difference. That's about it. Done.
Anything with 35,000 options out there that might possibly be the one that you want, and then you suddenly springboard forward lots of places, a bit like I did this weekend. At the end of the day, rather than just cruising around in the middle of nowhere, suddenly we could be somewhere decent, and the tyre was a big part of that. But it did give the opportunity to get people looking at our cars as well, which they're in a really good place actually right now. So yeah, all good.
100%. I'd like to say thank you to my pit man as ever, Mr. Morel. He was
Good job.
Also pitting for Ben. It was just making use of his time. He wasn't racing this weekend because he had way too much on at work the week before. But yeah, as ever, super awesome and always mega helpful. So thank you, sir.
Yep, helping the guys out, and thank you for a unbelievably nice piece of steak that you barbecued for me. I have absolutely no idea how you made that like that on a barbecue, so I need to try and get some lessons. But it was bloody marvelous on Saturday night. It felt like a really great national for that. Me back trackside as well, staying over it. It adds a completely different element to the race weekend as well. We don't have to rush off to hotels and all that other sort of stuff. So it was a great weekend. Enjoyed it, apart from the ending, obviously, with Lou. But glad to know that he's on the mend.
Yes, agreed. And yes, Jonathan, or John Wolf, as I'm going to call you, it was the return of white wheels that made me faster.
So there's something that we need to say about that. Obviously, we've been using Nemo Raceway as much as we can to try and develop the products that we do, of which, like we've just said, the tyres is a big part of that. Trying to learn the intricacies of everything that we've got, because the level now is so high that just a tenth or two here is massive. It can be the difference between winning or being 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So we've stumbled across something, and we haven't massively publicised it yet, but that is the 6-mix tyre with a beta wheel and a beta foam. Now this is an updated beta wheel, just recently launched, and a very, very recently launched foam. In fact, they're only coming through so far in actually sets when you buy your free rides and all that sort of stuff. It's the latest foam, although we're just changing that now, obviously, from what we've seen. But a combination of the beta wheel, the beta foam, and then the 6-mix tyre is where we've had a little step forward. We've seen it a few places now. We saw it at Brookthorpe when we were doing our e-buggy race, Leroy, didn't we? And we first started playing around with that sort of stuff. And then obviously this weekend we've seen it too. So we're going to try and make that a thing, I think, as we move forward, so that when you come and get your 6-mix tyres, they're going to come with that wheel and that foam, because what we've seen is too good to not try and share it with everybody else that wants to come and buy the stuff. So exciting with that, I think, mate. We've made a step forward.
Yeah, definitely. It's the performance is great. You gain corner speed without the car feeling any harder to drive. I mean, it's even easier to drive, in my opinion. It's just good all round. There's not one scenario where I would really go back from that now. So for me, it changes the profile of the tire a little bit. It makes it a little bit nicer, a little bit rounder, makes the car, again, easier to drive, but increases the corner speed. So win-win.
Yeah, definitely. And we first saw that with your last wins at Nemo Raceway as well, didn't we? That's where we first gave it a go, and we were back to back in it, putting it on and putting it off. And normally when you put it on, you'd TQ that round, and then we would take it off and run a all 6 mix product. You'd be just off the TQ, just that little bit off, tenths of a second a lap, but they add up. So super excited to see that now across multiple tracks and multiple people as well. We've taken a good step forward with that. So.
Yep, agreed.
All good. So that was the UK National, I think. Standout performances from our juniors again. Semi-final position pace for Eric and Ben into the quarters again, and Shorey boy had easily his best national this year, looking far more comfortable on the track. So yeah, just an all-round good national, I would say, as a conclusion.
Yeah, Mr. Berryman as well. We had an awesome result. He got into the quarters, and there's good results all around. Everything worked great. It was on a track, I would say a track surface that we were more familiar with. The last Blackpool, I think, is quite unique. At least it was until they've revamped it. Great job, by the way. It's looking awesome.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks really good. But the surface there was a little bit unique for me. It was kind of oil, but also kind of like concrete and really hard.
Yeah.
And then Shrewsbury obviously is its unique own surface. But yeah, Hearts, Nemo, and Brookthorpe are all very similar in my opinion. They're oil dirt tracks. So yeah, it was nice to be on something we're familiar with, and instantly it showed because our stuff was just bang on, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And we're making sure that for those races coming up, anyone that wants to dip into the 6 mix range and give the Magma Blues a go, which is the crack cocaine of oiled track tires, they will be there. Or our specialist stockists will have them there as well. So all good stuff. So that was the national. What else happened? Any other races on that I didn't know about at the weekend?
Don't know.
Apart from the 10th.
I don't even know what there was in 10th, to be honest, but I don't know if there's any American races. I don't think there was anything massive on this weekend.
No, I didn't. So I didn't see myself. I think there was a French national on, wasn't there? I think
I know there was a Swedish national where Jessica finished on the podium.
She did, and she finished on the podium with a wrecked car as well. She actually led her semi-final, and then on the last lap or two, she was sent off into the wall, Max and Hamilton style, apparently, so I was told. And they fixed a few things on the car, but they didn't have enough time to fix a bent shock tower and a few other bits and pieces. So she had to run the main with a handicapped car, but I think they were very happy with the result considering, and she is currently leading the Swedish Championship as well with 1 round to go. So top job all round.
Sounds good. Yep, awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And there must be some impact as well, because bent front shock towers is not something, I've got to say, on our car that we hardly ever see that.
I've maybe once ever have I seen a bent tower, let alone a front one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was on. You're quite right, Leroy. So well done to those guys there. They're always at the front of the field there. French National was on. Haven't had a report back from Adrian yet how that went. I know he was in the semis and stuff. But yeah, past that, I've got nothing further to report from there. And I don't think there was anything on in the States either. So it was a quiet weekend for racing for us worldwide.
Very easy for us to report on.
We should do, before we skipped over it, a star driver and an underperformer. Not an underperformer, someone that we'd like to see do better, I think is how we changed it. So give us your star driver from the weekend.
Star driver.
Not yourself.
Right. Star driver. I would go with young Eric Like, because he was a star driver in his final up until an unfortunate accident left him with a broken car. But at that point, he was easily bumping into a semi-final, which would have been absolutely awesome in only his third national with us as a team. So it would have been amazing. But he drove awesome. Yeah, just the one unfortunate clip of a corner that led to a breakage. But yeah, other than that, he was my star of the weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, that. And like you say, to be these juniors like Ben was at Blackpool, to be making finals in their first year of nationals when it's the most competitive it's ever been, I think is absolutely incredible. And those guys are going to have very good futures in RC if they keep at it. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, good choice. I think I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with Dylan Saunders. I think you might have picked him, or somebody picked him at the last national, but he's backed it up. He's made another national A final in a row. His speed was good. His lap time was right there as well. And yeah, he just converted on the fact he knows this track too, and it's easy when you think you're going to do well somewhere to then actually not do well and be overconfident. It just all goes wrong, doesn't it? So I think he's going to be my pick as a star driver. I think he did very well, and it's so cool to see our section have a depth of junior talent that is wild, really. Very, very, very good. So well done.
He was in my mind as a possible pick once you said it. So yeah, well done, mate. Good job.
Good. Who would we have liked, or who would have you liked to have seen to have done better?
Who would I like to have seen to have done better? Kev, and for no fault of his own again. Apart from the fact it rained. I mean, our semi was dry for the first half. And then the rain obviously came down, and lots of people thought it might, so went on like a wet tire. Some people kind of held on and went on a dry tire. We were the dry tire scenario.
Yeah, you and Kev were fast at the start, and then it went wrong. But you disappeared off into the distance, so it didn't matter so much for you. Although obviously you were having an easy win, and then it went away from you with the rain. But for poor old Kev, it just did not work out again.
No, it was quite shocking, like the difference, because I was a little bit out in front. I don't actually know how far, 15 seconds maybe.
Yeah, you were.
And then the rain came down, and Neil, who started on M4s, then went into a class of his own, and he was 4 seconds a lap quicker than me in the rain. So, the lead, and then possible more places to be lost quickly became apparent. But yeah, luckily I had quite a good start to the final, so I was quite far in front. But Kev, I think, was running fourth, and then once the heavens opened, he got swallowed up by a load of guys behind him. So yeah, but you'll do it next time, Kev. Don't you worry, man.
He will. It's got to change. Kev's at a level that I've never seen him at before, in all reality. And he's been racing many years, and he's just not getting the rub of the green at the Nationals at the moment. He does very well when it comes to our races and stuff like that, but at the Nationals there's always something. And this time, like you say, Roy, it was the weather. You can't answer that, can you?
You can't.
That. So we'd like to see him do better. And now I'm going to be stuck because I actually don't know who my would have liked to have seen do better would be. I'm just actually cheating and looking through the results now to see. Because nobody instantly stood out in my mind.
Brings to mind.
Oh, blimey. Is this cheating?
Probably. Possibly. No, I do it when you ask me sometimes. So.
Oh, do you? That's cheating then. Because I'm massive fans of them, I'm going to say Tommy Hall not making the main final.
Did he not make the main? I didn't actually know that.
No. He would finish 9th in his semi, and just was a little bit off this weekend. Obviously, he's been on a tier and doing so well as well. And so, yeah, I would, I think it's great to see those guys in the main final.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that he couldn't be in there. So it was more of a surprise that you're not in there, I suppose, really, more than anything else. But I think that was down in part to Tire again, and just either having that one that's working or not. And
I
it's
get his semi was wet throughout though, so I guess he would have been on M4, which would have been pretty good at the time.
Yes, I would agree. But then I think when I look at the runners that are in that, they were probably all on something quite good as well.
Yeah, it was a hard semi, that side of it. It looked tough.
Like Boots, Clancy, Skidmore, Allsop, Skidmore again. There's probably 5 of the spaces gone before you've even, unless they break down, they're probably going to be in there. And Darren as well. Bloom was in there. He had. I'm not sure what happened to Darren. Actually, he was running well, and then it just stops. But I don't know what happened. Which bit stopped.
Yeah, I don't know why it stopped. I guess it wasn't engine related because it didn't go back out. So maybe a servo.
Yeah, I think he was running third or fourth.
Yeah, he was up there.
Yeah. So there we go. But in general, I think everyone did pretty well, didn't they, this weekend?
Yep.
Marvelous. So that is that one covered off. What have we got coming up next? Well, next section normally is new products. Again, we don't have too much, although Six Mix have just announced a wet weather tire, I believe.
They have the XS. Is that what it's called? The XS tire.
Yes.
I saw Seb put a post on saying that's what I used in the final. I can guarantee that it wasn't, because I was on Magma Blue in the final. I think he was missing. I think he got confused because I think you'd asked him on a Sunday morning what a good tire for the wet was.
Correct.
So sorry folks, but I didn't use that because it was drying for the final. It wasn't dry; it was drying. But no, it's a good tire. We have tested it at Nemo in the rain, and it's been good. It's very soft. They did send us one initially, which didn't work that great. It was a bit too hard, and I kept pushing to get the softest rubber we could. And now this is it. So yeah, working very well.
Yep, so that'll be coming soon. It's fantastic that relationship is bearing its fruit, and again the raceway. Proving invaluable to us to be able to do that sort of stuff and feed it back, and then having a manufacturer that's listening to what we've got going on as well. Because I think before that, in the wet, we were struggling a little bit on the Six Mix stuff. So that should fill that hole. So it's going to be a pretty complete tire, the Magma, when you think about it, through all the incarnations of when we'd like to use it. And I know you've said there's some exciting stuff coming as well for the harder scenarios where we were missing out in the first nationals that they were working hard on. So definitely a tire company that's going places right now, I would say.
Yeah, so that exciting stuff was actually the same compound Ronafolk used this weekend.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go. I'm sure if anyone goes on their website, they'll see the sneaky colour that has appeared.
More colours than Joseph and his Technicoloured dream coat.
Yep. Just like a Hungarian opening ceremony.
I didn't see that. Was it colourful?
Oh, well, 4 F1 drivers got reprimanded for wearing rainbow-coloured T-shirts in support of the LGBT community.
Oh, good Lord.
I know.
Let's start a cult.
All right, Manson.
Let's start a cult. Well, more like the Bog one. I'd like people to have Rolls Royces and, hump each other relentlessly all day long. That sounds like a much better cult than Marilyn Manson's one. But...
So, Paul, if you're listening, we need Rolls Royces.
we need white Rolls Royces. We need about 96 of them.
Yeah, please.
Nice. I like it. So, what's next, Leroy, on our show?
So we have some questions, I'm sure, down the side. There's some in there that I can ask if you like.
Do that, buddy, and I'll look at our ones that are coming on the team. We were really tight for time to get this out tonight, so I'm not as well prepped as normal, which is disappointing. So yeah, you crack on with those, bud, and I'll try and sift through this stuff.
So this is more of a question for you, even though I'm cracking on with it. Did the temperature change during the final play to the advantage of the F225's tuning window? It was the only engine that I noticed didn't change tune throughout the A main.
That's very interesting, actually, because not from the main, but from our semi-final, because I was in the same side as Leroy, and it suddenly went from being dry to absolutely pouring down with rain. I actually made the comment to Rumble when I came off, and I was like, that motor did not change its tune for one moment of that through the puddles that I was driving through, because I'm a bit rubbish at keeping on the same line, and sometimes I find myself out where I shouldn't be. And a couple of times I thought, oh God, that's not going to be good, because I've just got a submersible RC for a moment. It did not miss a beat. And yeah, so I would say I'm delighted to see that. I actually have seen it already. If you go to nemoracing.com and look at our homepage, you'll see a video of me bumbling around in some ridiculous weather in the winter when we were trying to shoot a video with our man Charlie Locke, and we decided to just roll with it anyway, even though it had snowed the day before, which was not on the schedule. And I thought, well, this is probably not going to work out massively great, because we all know the motors don't do very well in wet weather normally. And it just purred away all day long. So it's the second time we've seen it. The first time was on a photo shoot. The second time was for real at a national. And yeah, they just don't seem to be bothered by anything, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and it's great. It's great to hear that somebody else has noticed that. Really, really great.
Yep, agreed. Answered. Bonar Blizzarditis says,
Yes.
evening guys, when does the entry close for your race on Saturday?
Well, we're trying to do something different with the Saturday race. I don't know how that's going to go for us. I don't know whether we'll fill it or whether we'll just have a medium turnout or whatever. So we'll be opening that up and keeping it open until the last moment. Obviously, if it does pick up traction, we're getting a lot of entries coming in the last day or two. If it gets full, then it'll be full. So get your entry in if you're thinking about it, buddy. I know you came down and had a good practice the other day, and you were looking good on the track. So get that entry in and come and join us.
Yeah, do it. Homeboy RC, it's a question for me if you want to read your things now. When I have a lead like I had yesterday, how on earth do you stay focused every time I've led a race, which ain't often? I'm always trying to see where second is. Well, I kind of do the same. I am always kind of checking what's around me, looking at the corner of my eye if I can see who's in second and whereabouts they are. A lot of the time you can tell if someone's near you on a rostrum, you can kind of see where their head is. But obviously at Hearts we have like the boxes, so you couldn't see any of that. So I was looking around. Sometimes I took my eye off the ball a little too much. That's actually the mistake I had. Other than that, I just wanted to thump the laps in. I actually treated most of the laps like I was in a long qualifying run rather than a final. I didn't want to back it down. I didn't want to. I wanted to basically get as big a lead as I could, because I knew that if it would rain at any point, I wanted to have the biggest gap possible, so that if anyone was on the softer tire, which I knew a lot of people weren't, but I knew some people were, that they wouldn't be able to have the time to get back in the game. So I just treated it like a 45-minute qualifier. So how about that? So just try and keep your eye on the ball and not worry about the people around you, and just thump the laps out.
Nice. Like it. Love it.
So how is Mr. Johnny Skidmore? Congrats on the win. Thank you very much. Just a quick question. Do you think scrutiny and team should be lenient of the rules, tank size, wing size, etc., or be strict with them?
Ooh, that's a good question. Leroy, you go first, and then I'll put my thought in.
It's hard, isn't it? I don't know who had. I heard someone had wing problems at some point. I don't know about many tank problems this weekend. Not really sure. I think a few people got tested twice, which is obviously in the rule book. Generally, it's tough. It's tough because for me there should be a rule, but at the same time, I mean, if your wing is a mil smaller than it should be, or bigger, I don't really know which way around it works. I don't know. Does it massively change anything? Probably not. So it's a tough one. I mean, rules are there obviously for a good reason, to try and keep everyone in some kind of guide. The same as F1, isn't it? It's tough. Some of the rules are like Vettel this weekend, didn't have enough fuel in his tank for a sample or something, and it's like,
That's
okay,
a perfect example, actually. I think from my side, I think you've got to have rules, otherwise it's going to be a something fest pretty quick. And when you're the wrong side of them, then something has to happen. Otherwise, there's no point having a rule. In my thought, my mind always goes back to a Worlds with Yannick Agoin in Sweden at Furland. And he did his semi-final. He had absolutely demolished everybody in his semi-final. And his tank was a cc over, and whenever it cooled down, it didn't go back down. His dad had gone up before, like, we've all seen this. His dad had gone up before that semi and had his tank tested to make sure it was okay, and it was okay. Obviously, it got hot and expanded like we know they do. They have to do that so the plastic doesn't actually just, shit itself when it gets hot. But they couldn't get it to come back down to size in the 20-minute period. So that was him done. I mean, it was another Worlds where if he hadn't had a breakdown, he would have won that one by a mile. He was in a different league to everybody else. And I can remember I was much younger at that time. I can remember thinking at the time, that's absolutely ridiculous. Why would they throw out somebody that clearly was going to, perform and do well and win something? But, in retrospect, if you're over, you're over. If you make a rule, it's there, it's black and white, and so you have to do something with it. Same for Vettel. I mean, it didn't make any difference to Vettel, I'm sure, on the track for 10 seconds. It's like Yannick's tank being over by 1 cc. That isn't going to have made any difference. He did the same stops as everybody else. He's gained no advantage whatsoever from that. But a rule is a rule.
I mean,
very hard.
For me, if we're at big races where I think rules should be in place, for the hobby club races and stuff, I don't massively think you should bring rules into it because it should be fun. But if we're at big races, I think we should seriously consider a pre-tech, because I don't like the idea of someone doing something, trying so hard. So, say for example, anyone, I don't know, Kev Brunston wins the national A final and his tank's over. He's done 45 minutes, like you say, he's done nothing different to anyone else. And it's just been kicked out on that. Whereas if we did a pre-tech, at least you can then do that race knowing that everything is fine.
Yeah, I would support that.
It shouldn't be there to catch people out. It should just be there to be a rule you sit within. I know in America they do pre-tech, but then they do post-tech as well. So maybe we should, think about doing pre-tech. You go up a couple of minutes before you should want to warm your engine up, and then once you've crossed through the pre-tech, you then can't come back out.
And I've seen that with electric, with the batteries, like at the MKGP.
Yeah.
They
and we're all about pre-tech. That's all we do.
All about pre-something with the 10th scale, right?
All about pre-something. But then it's great because, once so many people forget to put their car in tech after the race, because normally you just walk off back to your pits, don't you?
Yeah, genuine mistake, because you're not schooled at club level that's what goes on. And it's always genuine. When I hear Suzanne calling for somebody's car into scrutineering, it's never because they're quickly changing something to, that they've broken the rules and now they're quickly fixing it before they put it into tech. It's because they've just forgotten and they've walked off and they've forgotten. And I think, to be fair to the BRCA, they're pretty good at understanding that and not instantly penalising that. But for me, you've got to have some rules and you've got to be in them. And if you're not in them, then, the consequence should be whatever that's set out in the rule book to be. Pre-tech, I think, is great.
Maybe the rulebook needs to be a little bit more complex. Let's say, for example, your wing is undersized or oversized, whichever way around it was going. I don't know. Your wing is undersized. Maybe then, instead of just disqualifying you should have a 15-second penalty or something.
Yeah.
Rather than a simple disqualification. I don't know. I think pre-tech would fix most things. Everyone's car's getting teched anyway, so you may as well just kind of switcheroo it and do it 5 minutes before the run rather than 5 minutes after.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys are there in tech. Bless them, they're there all weekend doing their thing for us. So for them, I don't think it would make any difference whether they're checking tanks before you go out or after you go out. Maybe the quantity would be different. I suppose they've got to do everybody's, but food for thought, mate. Food for thought.
Yep. There you go.
Yes.
Good question, though, Johnny boy.
Yes, good question. Very good question. What's next on the list of questions? I've got a load now that I've got down here from the side.
Yeah, you were going to read out the team ones that we got.
Okay, I'm ready. So the first one I've got is not a question, but we should give a shout out to the South Coast guys. They've got their RC Astro Blast coming up, which we are supporting. One of the best, if not the best, Astro track in the UK, in my opinion.
Yep.
And just as I say that, Mr. Rumble is going to join us. And so, yeah, if you can get yourself booked in to the Astro Blast GP, I know it's a favourite of mine. It's a favourite of yours, Leroy. It's also going to be a favourite of Mr. Rumble's when he spent some more time down there for many reasons.
He's won there. What do you mean? He won there.
Oh, he did. Yeah, so it's already Rumble's favourite track ever in the world, ever, bar none. He was the absolute dominating MC at the E-Buggy SRS. But they also have a fantastic pub that is walkable if you're staying over. That does Chateaubriand's and Chateauneuf de Pape. So lots of chateaus. It's good.
Sounds very good.
Hi, Rumble.
Hello, Mr.
Good afternoon. How are we doing?
Wunderbar.
All good in the hood? Very,
I had a slight,
very good.
slight Dory moment because we'd started and I'd not added you in. So apologies for that, buddy. That's my my stupid memory.
Sorry. I was sat there watching. I was like, that's all right. Let's we're actually going to shorten the show, but to be fair, we'll do everyone a favour.
Good.
So one question, I wanted to put my two penneth in, which no one wants anyway, to be fair, but it's coming, about the Johnny's thing about the leniency. I think at National, there can't be any leniency, in my completely worthless opinion, because club meeting is different. I understand it's not that spec, it's not that level. It's club racing and not national racing. And if it's 1cc or 10cc, what is the difference? It's over the spec. And where do you then draw the line again? Does the tank limit then 126, 136, 140, 150? We'll all be running around with truggy tanks next week with that in mind. So I think it's got to be fixed.
I did that once.
Drescher did that once as well. I remember.
I did that once.
Inadvertently. I remember the.
Did it twice. Once inadvertently. Once I did it on purpose. But it wasn't it was a warm up to a national, and I wanted to make Brompton think that I was going to do 10 minutes at the national, so I put in a truggy tank.
Sneaky.
Sensational. Nice.
But did it change anything? Like, did he freak out?
I think I won, but obviously I had a buggy tank in for the actual thing.
Perfect. And the other time was quite an amusing.
Really fast, and then you couldn't keep up with him because he thought he had to stop once more than you.
Yeah.
So exactly. Heavy. Yeah. Oh, so heavy. The other really funny scenario was I think. I can't remember who it was, but we'd had some truck fuel tanks been unbagged, or that had come out of some truck kits that I think had been converted to electric or whatever it was at the time. And someone that probably myself, I'll probably take blame for it, but I think it might have been before my time anyway. Mislabeled them when they put them back up, and I can't remember who it was, but I think it was at a national, and it was a pre-tech. And they put a new tank in, as you do, a bit of preventative maintenance, and they took it, and I think it was Conroy that was doing the fuel check on it, and it obviously just went straight over the bottle, started going all the way down his arm, just absolutely drenched him and the machine and the table. Hilarious, really. And
Well,
so that was a funny one.
That's all. Oh dear.
I know. I've let the cat out of the bag.
Let the cat out of the bag, exactly. Big question coming up. Is the toffee apple cider the reason that Lee won so easily?
100%. So, Paul, if you're watching.
Yes. Brothers Toffee Apple Cider is the new tipple of choice in the Nemo camp.
Yes, it is.
Next.
Somehow, I actually managed to have a mouth.
Yes, you did. You did. And what did you think? You didn't like it?
Well, it was the least offensive alcoholic drink I've had in a period of time. That's a very good sign. That's a glowing review.
We've got a bad delay between the three of us, which is going to be fun to work with. But I think that Brothers would love to use that as their next marketing slogan, Mr. Rumble, the least offensive alcoholic drink known to man. Next question. This is a good one for Leroy. What's the RC pit tool that you couldn't live without?
My Hitachi screwdriver, or Hikoki as they're now called.
Oh,
they got obviously bought out or rebranded, so they're all called Hikoki now. But I couldn't live without that bad boy. Otherwise, I'd have really bad calluses on my hands.
Mr. Rumble,
RSI.
what would be your RC pit tool you couldn't live without?
I think because of my inherent OCD or whatever, the Tamiya or pipe wrench or Tamiya flywheel pliers with the nice soft rubberized jaws or plastic non-scratch jaws. So when you've just put your nice new flywheel on your new F225 and you really tightening up your flywheel nut, of which I never put Loctite on, just for any of those who care. Really wrench it to the point that you think it's possibly going to break something or someone. You then spin the flywheel in your metal pliers and very disappointing.
Yes.
So that's my tool. John, I don't want to know what your tool is because I fear I may.
He's two on the right.
It's a who, not a what.
Yeah,
bottle opener.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, a bottle opener. Exactly that. That is a tool that we cannot live without.
Yeah.
How do you prepare your 6-mix tires for glue? Where do you punch the holes, and how do you glue them, Leroy? This is for you.
So I just go 2 holes, middle of the tire, one adjacent to each other, either side. I then clean the bead with a simple green or brake cleaner. I use simple green just because it's nicer on the hands, and you got to keep the hands nice. And then I use the most amazing tool, which is probably second in the list of great tools, which is a 6-mix tire jig. Because without that, well, for a start, it's a lot harder. And sometimes, especially like the weekend where it starts raining, you've got 3 minutes to glue a set of tires. It makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yes, good plug. Good plug.
Oh,
that
yes.
is. Historically, I've hated tire jigs because we tried to use them extensively when we were first doing the beta pre-glues we were doing in-house, and that was a disaster.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, the 6-mix jig is absolutely superb. There's so many people saying it, so doing it and get yourself a 6-mix. That sounds something bad's going on. Get yourself a 6-mix jig. Have an easier time, a much easier time. They're very, very good. Oh, Teddy's just wandering in to see what's going on, barking.
The kids just came home from the cinema, so the dogs thought we were getting broken into.
Stand down. There's no security required. It's okay. Go back to sleeping.
Lola's running.
Good. Which track from times gone by do you miss racing at?
We haven't been. Oh, 8. Well, 8 scale, 10th scale. Well, 5th scale, quarter scale.
8th scale.
So for
8th
me, I
scale.
think it's probably Clanfield. We haven't been to Clanfield for a while. I think the last time we were there, we actually had Billy. Billy was with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing Billy at the end of this month, as everyone is, for our August GP race at Nemo Raceway. But Clanfield, it's always a really, really like fun track. You know, nice people. It's always quite a calm, relaxed vibe. And yeah, some very amusing times there. So yeah, Clanfield for me.
I tell you one that I do miss, Novorossi GP Raceway thing.
In Essex.
Did I take your track, John?
You always
do
it.
It wasn't massively for the track.
No, and equally, exactly.
Action Park.
Southend.
Good luck now finding your track.
That's disappointing. That was a great track, great venue, great hotel, great nightclub, great everything else. That's not on the calendar anymore. So yeah, I was going to choose that one. I thought no, I'm going to choose that because it would just not figure, and it has.
Very
okay. I'm going to
very expensive race there, I hear.
Very, very expensive. And you can wake up thinking you've been robbed because all your money's gone away. We were talking about that the weekend.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. I've been robbed, John. No, you haven't, mate. You just spent it all last night.
Quote. You've been ironing notes like they were going out of fashion or something. What was the quote? You just said it. You said it at the weekend.
I can't say any more because it could be long.
It could be incriminating.
I'm going to go with the indoor race that used to take place in Holland, and it was in a couple of locations. The last ones was, I can't remember now. I want to say Uden, but that might be wrong. But that was a really, really great race that happened. I think it was in February, and it was before there was Montpellier GP and a few of the other ones like, Padova, that are in the beginning part of the year now in a normal year. But before all of those, we used to descend, or the UK guys used to descend into Holland and do an indoor race, normally in a converted horse arena. So the surface was crappy and it got really bumpy and hard work, but it was just awesome. And it was the first time we'd see people with their new cars that they'd changed to over the winter for the next season. And it had just a wicked vibe. So yeah, that would be my one.
I think it's funny. I think it is Udon, because Nick Simerson was. We were talking about that over dinner at the weekend, or in the Premier Inn in Stevenage. He was explaining about how it was amazing because it had like a rubberized floor or rubberized matting that was just underneath under the racing surface, and it would eventually get down to that.
With Nick's car disappearing underneath it on one of the races.
Nice. No. Yeah.
No.
Very good.
Down the start finish, and it went underneath the matting where it dug itself out. It was like this weird thing. I don't want, like a carpet with a ferret underneath it going down the main straight, and the next car came down and just hit it and took off. It was awesome. Not for Nick. He was like, fucking hell, my car's under the fucking matting. But for us, it was hilarious.
He went very northern as well, obviously.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's Nick I know.
Yeah, he was upset about that. Got taken out by the track itself in its entirety. Next question. So, how often should you replace your clutch bell bearings / glow plug? And what do you check before a final? That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm clutch bell bearing mad. So I'll put new clutch ball bearings in before a meeting, and then I'll change them before finals as well, because it's one thing that can fail on you quite a lot, and it's just way better to put new ones in and be safe, in my opinion, for a couple of quid. I'd rather finish the final. Even after the semi at the weekend after it had rained, we got the engine out and put new clutch bell bearings in for the main final, because you don't want any water getting in there. It was sat around for quite a while. It could have just been rusting quickly. So you don't want anything to happen, in my opinion. So I change them very regularly. Yeah, Rumble, you can answer the glow plug one.
Yeah. Same for me on clutch bell bearings. And then for glow plug, we don't tend to put, well, they are a significantly more expensive item than a pair of clutch bell bearings. But definitely if we've done some practice and then we're coming to a national meeting, we will run like the main final plug and the practice, and then put a new one in for like a national meeting. If it's a club meeting, we'll probably just stay with what we've got. But it's quite critical when to preemptively put a new glow plug in. And what I tend to do is that if we're in the semi-final with John, if we're in the semi-final, or for those people that are in the semi-final, put a new plug in for the semi-final warm-up, for the semi warm-up or semi-practice, because if for whatever the way when a glow plug was on the way out, or a way to know that if your tune changes quite drastically, it means that your plug's been on the way. Because you've tuned it to a failing plug, and then you put a nice new fresh plug in, and then the tune will change. You do not want that happening, or not doing a quick quick tune up in your first lap of a semi-final, and because you've put a new plug in. So always just do that in a semi-final practice, and then if something's wrong, if there's a wobbler, it doesn't matter, and then we'll run that through the semi, and then through the main, and then any practice, and then probably a fresh one for the next national meeting.
Sounds good.
And what else do you look for? What do you check on the car? Obviously, this meeting, as John knows, I'm sure he was probably getting reasonably excitable, because I think all 13 other drivers were definitely warmed up and in pit lane, whilst I was, I think, probably just doing up the last engine screw. I can be quick at times, but easily distracted. And yeah, he's shaking his head in severe, slightly worrying. But we didn't have a lot of time. We definitely did not have a lot of time for this specific time. I think it was maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I think it was about 20 minutes. Not a lot of time to get all of that stuff done. So what do you check before you're heading up for a main?
For me, I'll just try and put in a charged battery. Again, like it did at the weekend, if it has rained, I'll want to change clutch bell bearings. Clean the car off, because whenever you clean the car, you're not just cleaning it, you're looking for anything that might have undone, anything like that. Other than that, it's probably just making sure it's clean, getting some tires on, making sure nothing's broken. And if I felt like I really need to change something on the setup, then I would obviously do that. Like Shrewsbury, we had a bit of a mad one because we decided to change quite a lot of things between the semi and the main. So it was pretty full on. Whereas, even at Hearts, it was a bit mad because it rained. We were changing clutch bell bearings and making sure it was charged and cleaning it and making sure the bearings weren't seized and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was all a bit madness. It's been madness every time. But yeah, generally just making sure it's gonna last the next 45 minutes.
Wrap it up and wipe its bottom and send it out. And oh yes, in the words of Hazel, wipe its ass and get it.
Send it out. It'll be all right.
And I remember I was putting the
that point. That point before the main where I said to you, we haven't got time to do that, and you went, it'll be okay, and I was like, okay, mate, I'm gonna go that way because I can't actually help that bit. And when they were calling track open, and I stood back from the rostrum because obviously we didn't have a car there, and I thought, I'll just look and see if I can see you in the distance. And you were still in our tent. I thought, that's the bit where I thought we probably wouldn't have time to do that. But to be fair, we made it. We got a lap in, and it lasted. So good work, Rumble. Good work.
Yeah. And it was funny because obviously you were just like, let's just get this started, let's get it warmed up, and I had the headset around my ear like this, and obviously you didn't realize I'd started it, and it was in the pits, and John was like, rev, and I was like trying to turn the mic down to turn these headsets on. Like, John, you're going to blow the engine up. I was like, John, you're going to blow the engine up, man. I was like, please stop. Like, trying to stop it, because John was just like, come on then, Rumble, let's get on with it.
Did you not hear what
I said back to him?
I was like, I'm not going to blow it up. I can hear it. I know what's going on with it. Did you not? Was it not on your head at that time?
It was around my neck. It was around my neck like this. I was just shouting down into it. I couldn't hear anything. Nothing.
I thought, God, it's been quite.
But we made it. And
I can hear it.
No. I could. They were around my neck. I was like, because I was trying to find everything, and I was like, right, let's get them around my neck. So at least then I'm not going to be running back for them. And whilst putting face masks on and all of that good stuff. Yeah, it was good, but really good to see all the cars kept on going through that condition. It was in times gone by. I think the 319 radio trays like really amazingly sealed, which is really, 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 really nice. Obviously, touch wood, but I know in times gone by, if we'd have run in those sort of conditions, like your semi-final conditions, everything would have been soaked, but that, I think with the higher side guards and the radio tray sealing, it was good as gold, which is nice.
Yeah, man, there's not much water that gets in there, which is great to see.
Yeah.
It makes you far more confident when running in the rain that this stuff's not just going to set off and do all crazy shit. So, yeah.
I still have in my mind the original Gamma A8, which had like the worst radio tray in the world, full stop, like to build, and then it was the worst radio tray in the world for water. Like welcome it in, like, welcome, brother, come and just sit in my receiver on my back, and we'll have a chat about why we're not working. Terrible. So as our cars were sat for 30 minutes or 40 minutes stewing in water, I was like, my God, thank God it's not an A8, because otherwise now we'd be doing 2 servos, a receiver, a battery. It'd all be getting out the car. So yeah, all good stuff. So next question.
Yeah.
Have you had an blow up mid-race? And if so, when? Mr. Martin.
No, I've never actually had one blow up. I've had a few cool noises come out of them, which we all know about from Blackpool.
Yes.
But yeah, never actually had one go on me, so to speak.
Oh, Tedward. Teddy, you're making me. So yeah. So I already explained this quite funny tale in the team chat that we have. But it was actually Digger, and it was at a Slough SRS meeting, and he had I think it was a 220, so yeah, Bullet 220, that was, I don't even know, 10-gallon down, maybe 12-gallon down, and when they start really singing, and it was in a truck, it was in a 215T, in fact, and it really started to sing throughout that meeting. We were like, well, when they really, really sing, you're like, well, it's 10 guns old, that might expire at some point. And it did expire in very glorious fashion. It was at the end of the Slough, long straight, and it did expire, and it broke the connecting rod, broke the com rod, which ejected itself out the crankcase, and then through the chassis plate. It went through the chassis, through the crankcase, and out the bottom of unbelievable. Alan Dell was there, who is just a few years older than myself and John and Lee. I said to him, have you ever seen that before? I said, that is unbelievable. He said, never in my life. Never in my life I'd seen it actually manage to go through the chassis plate. So yeah, that was spectacular.
And
John,
speaking of,
I know you're right.
Speaking of Alan, it was great to see him at the weekend.
Yeah, really.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, it was. It was really, really lovely to see Alan. We've not seen him for very, very long. Very, very long. That's good English, that, isn't it? And it was awesome to see him there and enjoying it, and up on the hill watching the finals and stuff. So, mega.
Yeah, I absolutely love to see Alan. He's as John says, he's like my sort of adopted father or something, because we could chat for about.
I think that you just could have had a moment with your mother, because you and Alan are very similar in many ways, many ways that we don't need to go into right now. But yeah, Alan's a legend. Both myself and Leroy, we've been lucky enough to have the help of that man for various things over the years. So awesome to see him backtrack something.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah,
Absolute legend.
Good to see you, Alan.
I'm going to call
it's
you
good to
Alan
see
Jr.
Father for you, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a while. 2 years.
Daddy.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Daddy. So, really. Yeah. John, engine blow up mid race. Talk to me.
Yes. I blew it up and lost a British Championships from it. Holbeach. I think it was Holbeach. Yeah. So I learnt my lesson because I was being a youngster and having a tantrum because I was upside down. I was running in second. I was trying to track down Crompy, who was leading. I didn't need to do that, as it transpired anyway, because we'd done well enough in other races to not need to. And because the marshal was a little bit slow, I gave it a frustrating death rev, and it blew my OS up, and that was that. That cost me a championship. Number 2, that would have been for me in buggy. So yeah, I learned the hard way to temper your enthusiasm, and I try to pass that on to our juniors and our seniors as well. Actually, to be fair, it's not the engine's fault that you're upside and revving its tits off while it doesn't have any load on it is not going to help it in that moment, or its life expectancy either. That definitely ages them quite quickly doing that. So yeah,
it won't blow up that time. It'll be the next time, I don't know why it blew up. Yeah, well, it was the 2 meetings back where it did 47,000 RPM for about 15 seconds on its roof. That may have helped it along.
That'll do it.
That and dirt, they're the two ways to easily age your engine. And yeah, like I say, I learned the hard way, so I try not to do that anymore.
Good idea.
Marvellous. So that's my questions done, Leroy. Have we got anything else on the side?
Well, we've got Glenn Blunden saying, well done at the weekend. And he says, hi to you, John. You haven't aged a bit, he says. How's that?
Blimey, I don't know. Glenn, when was the last time you saw me?
Oh, no, I was just going to say you look really old as a child. That was all.
Well, that's also true. Yeah, exactly. I actually came out looking like this. I don't know what happened. It must be.
But definitely the red wine. I think the red wine keeps you young.
That's it. We'll go with that, because then we can keep.
Ed Kerry's online. So, Ed, how you doing, bro? And big love to all you and your family.
Yes, yeah. And talking about Southend, that's the only national I've known somebody TQ around, which Ed Kerry did, and still not make the A main. He had a TQ and a 100th and a 50th and a 100th.
We had a few people in temp scale do that, and it was always, if you did that, it was like a thing you ticked off. Yeah, TQ'd around, but I didn't make the main. So
nice, good. He did it in
Ben Johnson says, do you think the Hearts track should change the Mount Everest of a pit entrance?
Yes.
No.
No, yeah, definitely. I think they should. So before that, Ben, which you wouldn't have seen, you could like kind of slide into the pit lane at any point because you could. There was nothing at the entrance. It was easy. And I used to watch the guys in the winter go, like Mr. Jackson, he was good at doing that, like slinking into the pit lane halfway down it, which is faster. So they've obviously made that so that cannot happen and put Mount Everest at the entrance. The problem is the entrance is the size of... I'm not even going to go there because I can't even... What's it, the size of something small, Rumble, that's not bad?
Belly button.
Yes, it's the size of a belly button on the way in. It's also the size of a belly button on the way out. It starts wide and keeps narrowing down. That's the wrong way. It should be narrow at the start and then going wide, in my opinion, so you can race it on the way out. So, yeah, I would like Mount Everest made slightly smaller. We actually nicknamed that a Gamma entrance because I had to stand there and marshal yourself and Don multiple times, and Jim Thompson was having fun with me about the fact that the Gamma drivers couldn't get in the pit lane. So yes, I think it should go.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind it too much. It is quite narrow. I think there's a few too many bumps on the way in. There could, and the straight bits, yeah, but you don't need them when you're trying to also go around quite a tight turn and get into the pit lane. I think it just can create a bit of carnage. Coming out, I think generally it was okay because if normally you could come out, you could hold the throttle and you bounce between the pipes, but there was a join of a pipe that was quite awkward in where it was put, where a lot of people would come out, and at the point where you kind of needed to tweak left, they'd use like a pipe joiner like we use, but obviously their pipes are quite big and people were catching tires on it, and that was causing a lot of problems. But yeah, there you go. There's my 2 pence.
Agreed with Leroy. Mr. Rumble, what about coming out of the pit lane?
I think I have no opinion. I tell you what, one feedback I do have, it's a very nice pit lane. It's for a mechanic, it's a nice pit lane. It's a good height, good width. The actual the actual width of the pit lane and the construction of it is really, really nicely done.
That's
all
really
the feedback I have. And the next bit, I don't care. I have no control over that bit. I can only do the bit in between, and I like that bit. So yeah, it's okay.
Agreed. There's loads of room. Hearts have the best pit area in that respect. I think you can see what your mechanic's doing. You can step back and see what's going. So yeah, top.
Yes,
top bombing.
Top bombing. And you managed to swerve. You managed to swerve my my stupidness. So good job. Next question
coming out.
I saw. Yeah, exactly.
I could see it coming a mile off.
Yes, that's what she said.
So
that is what she said.
Yeah. So, is there a new A215T coming out soon?
Not soon. Maybe.
Not soon. Maybe. There you go. But nothing that we know of in the immediate future, that's for sure. Matt Harrison says, cheers from California. He said, absolutely loving his A319P and EP.
Nice. Awesome.
Good.
Thanks for joining, Matt. And also a big hello to Chewy RC, who's online, but he's late joining the show. But that's cool, man. You are late, but not too late. But we are going to be saying bye very, very shortly. Yeah.
Nice.
I've just seen one about caps running beta wings on truggies. Always. The
bro.
beta wing is the one.
Really?
It's the one for everything. Truggy, buggy, fuggy, whatever those things are. It'll be dialed on them all manufacturers.
Yep. Agreed.
So
Muggy. There used to be a Muggy, didn't there?
There.
Yep.
Yeah, made by Losi.
Yeah, Losi Muggy.
Monster Buggy. And now in the electric and truck class, we have a new joining third supporting class called the Fuggy,
Well, let's be
which
honest,
is like a buggy, except
if we're being honest with it, it was already named for what it's become.
yeah.
Exactly. They just knew. They knew.
Yeah.
From the beginning, they knew. So, anything else down the sides? Well, I can see down the side.
Your bit, Leroy. I'm done on my questions.
I'm done too.
Just a couple of quick things is obviously this weekend. I don't know whether we actually covered this, but we've probably already covered it. But obviously, race 11 this weekend. The entries are coming in, which is nice. Some big names. Obviously, we'll have full factory support there for everyone. And then we are off down to Slough for their club meeting, which will be good. I put an email out today with a starting setup sheet and tyre suggestion for both of the meetings. Really, I'm excited to have a watch of or a little look at the new Slough track. John, I'm sure you're excited to have a little go round.
I am. Yeah, 100%. Looks awesome from what we've seen.
Yeah, really good. So it'll be nice to see it in the flesh and watch you go round it. We're obviously there from the Sunday AM. I think maybe Saturday PM. I don't know. But it will be there from the Sunday early doors with obviously again the van and gazebos. We'll be there Sunday.
Legend. And yeah, everyone else get booked in also for the South Coast RC Astro Blast before it's too late.
Yep.
Controlled tire race with the Smith Barracuda in silver, which has been doing awesome. Everyone should go get involved with that. Also get involved for race 11 and of course the August Bank Holiday, which will be the last race before the National, but it's going to be fantastic on its own. 3-day race meeting, awesome format, lots of fun to be had. Really looking forward to that one. My boys even want to race that one.
Nice. Oh,
nice.
We need
That'll
to make
be
that
good.
happen.
So yeah, we need to try and find some cars and engines laying around.
Oh goodness! It's a multinational race. The August GP
we've got James LePavot. No, we haven't got James LePavot's car because I'm using that one to good effect to make the A5 at Westmill. So boom! But we do have some shop cars as well that we can make available to anybody that likes. And we'll make it available to Mr. Martin and your gang. Let's make them race.
Yeah, man. They're actually asking to race now, which is fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah, 100%. They're going to be shit hot if they do it. There's no doubt about that. If they take after Daddy, they're going to be fast.
We'll see, eh? We'll see. Could just be shouting at them from the bottom.
Yes. No, don't do that. We do shouty dads. Do calm.
Yes.
Calm dads. Calm. It's good. I need to keep in practice. I've started to try and do a little bit with Ben and a little bit with the likes as well. That's good for me to just get into that whole, talking to your juniors and making sure I'm definitely not going to be one of those dads that is shouting up how to do the doubles. Jess, if you're watching, stop it.
Good luck.
Your man knows how to do it. Doesn't need your encouragement. He knows when he's crashed.
I heard Jesse's voice more than Leon's through the final on the weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Calm down, Dylan. Drive smooth, Dylan.
Yes, exactly. This is Jess that says to me, I'm a changed man. I don't do that anymore. He said that to me like 2 or 3 times. It's like a little running jest I have with him when I see him. Like, you ready, Dad? You calm, Dad? Oh, I'm calm this year. Just doing it for a bit of fun this year.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, good.
Love it. Cool.
Leroy.
Let's sign off because it's getting late. Everyone wants to go to bed, including all of us 3. So, yep, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you join us again next week, where we'll be talking about race 11 and all the other good things that are going on, Slough and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks very much. Go subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up. Why not? We've got 11. We may as well have 19, 20. You know, just keep throwing them in there. And yeah, we'll see you this time next week.
Lovely. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Ciao for now.